cracks are starting to form in the seasonality here, showing that we might see some volatility coming in the next few weeks. We've got Bitcoin showing a little bit of weakness, while the miners aren't really following that trend at this moment. We'll take a look at all of that and more right now. But before we get going, check out the channel memberships, especially that stalagmite level. We cleared over $2,000 in that level just last week with the real-time trade posts. We're trying to do some more alpha here going forward. Of course, nothing's guaranteed because investing is risky and we could end up losing money, but we've been doing pretty well in there so far. Check that out. You also get members only videos, and then you've got Soda Straw and Stalactite, where you get the badges, you get the emojis, you get early access to videos, priority reply to comments, as well as member shout outs. Let's get into it. All right, so this chart right here is showing me that the cracks are forming. This is the chart I showed you before, which was MAGS plus Oracle plus Palantir plus AVGO. And we are at the very bottom of the range here, which is the 20-day moving average. You can also see the 7-day starting to curl over and point down. If we start to see this crack and cross and start opening and closing candles beneath the 20-day moving average, we are in for a world of hurt for the entire economy, because these right here, MAGS plus Oracle, Palantir, and AVGO, make up the vast majority of the S&P 500 right now in terms of percentage. So if these things take a dump off of this epic run, this absolutely epic run that's been going on since April, we will see that pullback that we've been talking about in August or September, which I'm expecting will be between a 7 to 10% pullback in the SPY before continuing on again, which is a healthy pullback, but it will hurt if you're not ready for it. Okay, so we're watching this very closely. It crossed my line. If it closes underneath my line, I will start to get a little bit nervous about the short-term volatility, which is why I'm also closely monitoring, not the BIX, the VIX. I'm closely monitoring the VIX for a possible trade up to somewhere around 20, maybe 25 or 30. Don't mind, that's the volume profile, don't mind that. We'll just stare through all those terrible lines. Yeah, so we're looking for a volatility spike here in the next few days or weeks, and for me, I can't trade the VIX on my platform, so on my brokerage, so I look at VXX to get an idea. And for VXX, yes, I'd be looking for a pop up to about 45 or so about from 38 to 45 on that one. I haven't done anything about it yet, but if you're in stalagmite, you'll know exactly when I do. So that's the big cracks are forming. Now, this is also, we got a lot of Fed speaking this week. Today we've got Fed Bowman today, we got Bowman tomorrow, we got Bostich on Wednesday, Waller also on Wednesday, Fed minutes on Wednesday. That's going to be an interesting volatile day. Thursday we've got Bostich, and we've got PMI for manufacturing and services, and then we also on Friday, that's the big day, Jay Powell is going to speak from Jackson Hole. That can and will move the market on Friday. So today, this week, we've got a lot of Feds talking. They're going to bring out their weapon, the mic, their third tool in their box this week, and it's going to likely be interesting and volatile. What's wrong with my voice? All right. Excuse me. Bitcoin broke my line here. Don't like that. Don't like that one bit. We got some pretty nasty looking candles coming through. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come down to at least 114, maybe even as low as like 112 to 111. I don't see us sweeping this. So if we sweep here, if we sweep this right here, 111,956. If we sweep that, we're looking at some bad news. If it closes a candle down there and opens a new one detached from that line, we're looking at bad news. We're looking at retracing all the way back down to like 100,000 potentially. In fact, like this line is wrong. We'd be looking at retracing to about 100,000. Let me go to about somewhere around like maybe 104 or so, something like that. I'm gonna lock that down. Somewhere on this left here, we were looking to come all the way back down to here if we sweep that. If we start closing candles beneath 111 or basically 112. Beneath 112, we'll be looking to revisit maybe even the 200-day moving average before going up. That would suck, especially see all this volume gets really, really weak right where we are right now. Big pocket all the way down to 110, and then from there it doesn't really build back up again until we get to about 104, and even from there we got another volume pocket. So this is nasty looking. I don't like this at one bit, and this could possibly be that global liquidity dip that we saw before, coming in a little bit late. Could be coming in a bit late on this dip here, so we might see a day or two of this, because you do see the liquidity was flat for a few days up until about the 22nd. So I'm expecting somewhere later in this month to move up through September and October, surprisingly, because September tends to be a terrible month. But I'm looking for that move up, and this move down might just be what gives us that momentum to do it. So not all is lost, but I do hate what I'm seeing on these candles right now. They're really gross looking, especially those, like this big red followed by doji, and then we dump that. Yeah, I hate that, especially since we're going beneath the 50-day moving average. So I really greatly dislike that. But the miners aren't really following it right now. We got CleanSpark up 1.6%, Iron up almost 2%, Mar up 0.5%, Ride up 4%, Cypher 12%. I believe was it last week when I got asked about, between Cypher, Wolf, and one other, BTBT, Cypher was was the one I was looking at the most. Now Wolf is also up 17%. So but I was looking at Cypher the most there. So feeling pretty good about that. I didn't buy in, but I liked it better out of the choices I was provided at that moment. But it does look like Wolf is outperforming. So I wasn't like right, but I got one of the two doing well in that respect based on the chart. And I do think we're going to come up to this line up here about $6. Core Z up 2%. We're seeing this nice little basing here. We're waiting for that deal to come through and finalize with Coreweave. Is Coreweave going to acquire them? Or are they not? That's kind of why we're like basing around on here on Core Z. And until we get clarity on that, when we get clarity on that, we'll either fly or die based on that. Hut is doing kind of what I thought it would do. It's coming up to this, and it's going to flag here a little bit, and then I'm expecting it to break out at some point, as long as Bitcoin can hold. Wolf also up 17% again today. This thing is wild. This thing is out of control. I don't like buying things that are parabolic, so I'm going to stay out of this thing. But if you're in this thing, congratulations, you're doing fantastic. And that's pretty great. Hive up almost 6%. I'm enjoying this one right now. I've got about 15 contracts on this bad boy, so it's got a lead in an explosive phase. I'd be looking for around 252 to see some really serious resistance there on the 200-day moving average, and then potentially for it to roll back over a little bit, test some of this volume, and then carry on. We'll see. BitDeer, a laggard. As usual, lately it's been a laggard. It is leading in, so if it gets above $14, I'd be looking at BitDeer to break out. But if not, then I'd be looking for it to continue to range where it currently is. BitDigital falling because Ethereum is falling, so it is falling out of favor there. A lot of the Ethereum treasuries aren't doing so hot right now, especially BMNR came down also 5%. I am waiting for this one to get a little more interesting. I am watching it on smaller time frames, like a 2-hour, 1-hour chart. I really want to see it just come back above. If my volume profile will ever load, I'm looking for it really to get above, like not that one. Where was the one I was looking at? Was this a 786 pullback? I can't remember. It's too early in the morning right now for that. It'll tell me when it tells me. There's reasons I put the alerts where I put them. But I'm seeing a falling wedge right now, and we start to break out of this falling wedge. I'm looking for this. I can't remember which time frame I was looking at for this one. What is my message on here? All right, I'll just look at it. 382 broken. Oh, so it's coming down. Okay, that's one saying it was coming down. And what did it say? What was I looking for? 145, 45 or something? 45 to 40. So, yeah. What did we get to? 53. So we could see it come all the way down to this area here. But this is a falling wedge. When it breaks out of this falling wedge here, I am looking for it to come right back up to about 62. So, like, if it can break out of the falling wedge, 62. If it can't break out of the falling wedge, I'll look at it to continue to grind down and maybe dip hard, depending on what Ethereum is doing. MicroStrategy is still doing nothing. SBET, same boat as BTBT and BMNR, but I do like this a little better. Look at this. It's come down. We got this nice engulfing candle. We can close up here on the 2-hour. I'm looking at this thing to pop up to about 23, which means I would be selling a cash ticket put on that, so I'd be doing pretty well. Bitfarms up 8%. Told you. So I've been holding on to this one for a while. We're above the 200-day moving average now. This is going to go to 170, is my opinion. If we go beneath 121, then it's done. But right now I'm looking at $172 for Bitfarm, so I'm feeling pretty good about that call right now. Can doing exactly what I said it would continue to do, is just base there until around October. So I'm not interested in that until October. What's BTM doing these days? I haven't looked at BTM in a while. BTM is just kind of falling off. At some point, I will pick this up. I'm looking at around that 350 level. So let me go ahead and take this line that I've got drawn here that's got no reason to be there right now. Well, it doesn't have no reason to be there, but it's not an area of interest for me. And I'll go ahead. I'll just leave it there. Boom. I'll know when I see it why I put it there. Okay. Sold down 5% today. ETH down 4% today. Doge down 5% today. I have been, I upped my Doge allocation up to 10,000 Doge. So I've got 10,000 Doge. I'm looking anywhere under 20 cents. I'm looking to add SUI. I've started building a SUI I've started building a SUI position. I've got about 200 SUI here. I've also got some SUI alts that I've been looking at as well that I got a very small positions in, but I've got those too. But SUI, yeah, I'm looking to accumulate about 300 SUI, and I'm looking for SUI to about 10x from here by the end of the cycle. We'll see if that happens or not. I might end up selling it for just a modest gain, but we'll see. We shall see. There was a new SUI. Is it MVTS or something? No. MCTV, is that it? Yeah, no. I don't know. Where did it go? Let me see. I can't remember what it was called, but I put an alert on it. There it is. MCVT. That's what it was. Mill City Ventures. Those are all my alerts. You got to see all my alerts. MCVT, Mill City Ventures. They started a SUI treasury very recently, and you can see this is basically the day they announced it back on July 25th, and it came down. We got a nice little retest and then a continuation. If we can break out above $8, this thing is probably going to rip. Basically anywhere as long as it holds above 547, which is it's a $2 range from where it currently is. I'd be looking to accumulate anywhere between 670 and 547. And I'd be looking for it, or a breakout above 807, and then I'd be looking for this thing to rip on there off that SUI treasury. So if you don't want to do crypto itself, this would be like a treasury company similar to like BMNR or SBET or any of those others or Metaplanet or any of those others, but for SUI, not for Bitcoin and not for Ethereum, but this one's for SUI. All right. So keep that in mind. Pay attention to that one. And I think, Coreweave. Coreweave's getting very interesting. I'm looking at taking a position on Coreweave here very soon, possibly today. I've got an alert set. If it goes above it, I will be looking at it. Let me hide my drawings. It doesn't have it yet. But yeah, we came down. We did sweep these lows, but if we can start to recover off of this bottom here, I'd be looking for at least a retest of the 7-day moving average up at $111, maybe even the 20-day moving average up at $115, almost $116. So I would be looking at doing kind of an aggressive cash secured put on this thing because I do want to own Coreweave, but I'd like to get protection down to about $90 just in case, because I do feel like 90 is an area that it will probably hold for now, partially because if we go into, there's some news somewhere. Here we go. Here's the news story. So yeah, Nvidia has been quietly buying more Coreweave. There it is. Coreweave. They've been buying Coreweave. Okay, that's that. Nvidia's been buying Coreweave. All right. So I'm very interested in Coreweave. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe. All those things do so much to help the channel. Share this video if you're so inclined. Check out the channel memberships. We've been doing some really great stuff in stalagmite, especially as we get towards the end of the Bitcoin cycle. And with that said, have a profitable day.